James cooked this goose.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Then we can go get Baker Mayfield.
So James can cook this goose and we can have some Baker Mayfield cookies right after.
Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost. I am your host, Diesel, joining from Diesel's Dapper Dungeon of Delight. This time I am joined by Chad because when I recorded yesterday, I did it by myself. But today I'm joined by Chad because this is our weekly predictions episode. And Chad, how are you?
Oh
Oh,
man.
you're taking a drink.
I'm about 50-50 in life right now. That's about how I feel. I'm not up, I'm not down, just about 50-50. But I'm really happy to be here with you right now.
50-50 in life and 50-50 in last week's picks. Nice perfect segue right there because we both went 50-50. We both went 8-8 last week. And it was really close to Chad not going 8-8. But Monday Night Football happened and an epic finish was in store for Chad to go 8-8 and also put me down to 8-8 because I did not have the Falcons. But our season total so far I'm 19-13 and Chad is 14-18, still under 500, but I think you're gonna change that this week.
Well, we're gonna hope, Diesel, but it's week 3 and Chad might already be swinging for the fences. That's that's neither here nor there, though.
So how'd you do with your golden locks, or just your locks of the week? I did not record them last week because my computer was acting up, so I don't know which were which. So tell the fine folks how you did.
Hey, folks, if you were gambling with me last week and you were just betting straight up with what I said, we did pretty damn well. I gave you 9 locks last week, and we went 5, 3, and 1. So we lost on the Miami, on Buffalo. Sorry, I don't know what you want me to say about that. That just really went poorly. We lost on Dallas because everyone lost on Dallas. And we lost on Indy because I had faith in Indy and they just didn't show up at all. We pushed on Houston -6 against the Bears because they only could manage to win by 6. Should have been a lot more. That game shouldn't have been that close, but it was what it was. But we then, on our first ever heart lock of the week, covered with the New England Patriots +3.5 because they only lost by 3. We covered on our first ever Emerald lock of the week because the Jets covered against the Titans -3.5. We covered on the Suck It Carolina lock of the week because the LA Chargers clearly covered -6.5. And we also covered for the first time on the Raptor lock of the week as Atlanta did clear the +6.5. And then we did get the golden lock of the week right because Tampa Bay did beat the Detroit Lions in Ford Field, just as Diesel and I said. So once again, if you were betting with me, I had a couple big underdogs. And if you took the money lines on them like I told you to, you won a fair amount of money this weekend. So I hope you're listening. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I did not bet with you, and wish I would have known because maybe I'd be a rich man instead of just this guy that I am right here. Anyways, let's talk about football. This isn't a financial podcast. We got a bunch of games to talk about. Full slate once again this week, ending with a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. But boo, we'll get to that. Starting with Thursday Night Football. We have 2 1-1 teams, also a division rivalry. We have the 1-1 New England Patriots traveling to the 1-1 New York Jets. The Jets are favored by 6.5 with a 37.5 point over under, and 86% of the fan differential are on the Jets. What say you, Chad?
Yeah. Well, Patriots tossed away last week's game. Should have beat the Seahawks. And with no help from the referees, they don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the referees lost the Patriots that game. If you have to get 1 yard in overtime and you have 2 chances to do it and you can't do it, you probably shouldn't win the game. But even to get to overtime, whatever. The Patriots last week went to overtime, fought a hard-fought game against the Seahawks. The Jets last week kind of cruised a little bit against Tennessee. They had their moments where it looked like it could go bad, but Will Levis did Will Levis things and gave up the game to the Jets. And then Breece Hall and Braylon Allen are just monsters, apparently. So this game is, unfortunately, a very obvious pick for me. It's the New York Jets. It's in New York. The Patriots just played in an overtime game. The overtime rule this last week proved very, very truthful, as both teams that played in overtime game the week before got their butts handed to them the next week. So we gotta, just go with it. And I'm not happy.
Well, I'm very sad
that the Patriots are going to lose this game. We should have won last week. But as a Thursday Night Football lock of the week, as a fun little thing, I'm not going to do score or over-under or teams. Give me Ramondre Stevenson's over 67.5 yards for the game. Because win, lose, or draw, the Patriots are going to give the ball to Stevenson a shit ton. And that's basically free money right there. So that is my lock for Thursday Night Football, because I don't want to bet on the Patriots losing very badly. And they might by a lot.
Yeah, the Patriots did play in overtime last week, like you said, and your old famous rule of don't pick teams that play in overtime because they don't really win very often. They also are on a short week, which might not help. But I'm taking the Patriots. You know why I'm taking the Patriots? I'm taking the Patriots because what do they do really well? They run the ball really well. What is the Jets' weakness? Stopping the run. Also, the Jets have good run attack, but Aaron Rodgers did not look good against the Titans. Garrett Wilson's good. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen had a great game, but who also has a pretty decent defense that can stop the run and keep their team in the game long enough for them to win a 17-16 game, 2017 game, something like that. I like the Patriots in this game because I do not believe in the Jets defense. And plus, Robert Saleh is a moron, and I think he should be fired. He should be fired right now because he's just not a good coach. They have talent on this team, and they're regressing. They paid all this money for Aaron Rodgers, and they're still getting worse. They're 1-1, but they could easily be 0-2. They could have lost to the Titans, who are not good, who do not have an offense. I am not buying into the Jets as of yet. They might figure it out throughout the season, but I like the Patriots in this game. I really do.
This would be the happiest game I'd ever be wrong on. Legitimately, if the Patriots win this game, I'm not going to be upset to get this wrong. But I think that the Jets they're in growing pains on the offensive side of the ball, and defensively, they're only going to keep getting better throughout the year. I think both sides of the ball, this team is on an upward trajectory. So I think they got the Patriots monkey off their back last year by winning the last game of the year. And now, I don't know, maybe they start a streak of beating the Patriots and I get really annoyed about it.
You're just trying to do reverse psychology, just like I tried with the Packers last week, and it worked. So it's going to work for you as well. I hope.
Maybe.
But my track record for Thursday night games so far is 0-2. So
I'm glad we picked differently. So at least one of us, no matter what, is getting a Thursday night game right, because we have not got one in the first 2 weeks.
Now you just jinxed it because it's going to be a tie.
I wouldn't be mad about that either, honestly.
Well, moving on to Sunday. First game at noon, we have the 1-1 Chicago Bears traveling to the 0-2 Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are favored by 1 with a 43 over under, and the fan differential has the Colts at 53%. I imagine the Colts are only favored by 1 because they're at home. The Colts did not have a good showing on Sunday against the Packers. That off, I mean, so the running back,
Jonathan Taylor.
Fort Badger, Jonathan Taylor, yes, he rushed for over 100 yards, but he wasn't getting in the end zone. They were keeping him from scoring. They were like, "We'll give up the yards, but we're not giving up the points." Packers defense did a really good job of that. Anthony Richardson threw 3 horrible picks. All 3 of those picks were just like, what are you doing, man? I know the last one was on a Hail Mary, but still, like the first 2 were just bad throws right to Packers. Like all of this like high hope that I had for this offense last week and all this like bright talk that I had for them, they like really made me look dumb. Like I know I do believe the Packers have a good defense, but that being said, I feel like the Colts offense just played so bad. It made the Packers defense even look better than they are. Which doesn't bring me much hope against going up against a good Chicago defense. The only thing is Chicago cannot score points on offense. Caleb Williams still hasn't thrown a touchdown. In fact, no rookie quarterback has thrown a touchdown yet, at least the top 10, which is nuts to me. Touchdowns are down overall. I think it was 60 or passing touchdowns at least 69 through the first 2 weeks, which is nice, which is down by a lot from just a couple years ago, which was 105 in 2021, I believe. So that's last year was like
71 with Monday Night Football.
What's that?
I said it was 71 with Monday Night Football. I have
69. Before Monday Night Football was 66, and there was 3 touchdown passes last night, which makes 69.
Nice.
Yes. Yes, but that being said, I am taking Indy because of the fact the Bears can't score. They haven't proven anything to me yet with this young offense. Caleb Williams has looked like garbage. They're not using Swift right. They're like Keenan Allen's hurt and he has Liz Frank injury, so he's going to be out for a little while. Roman Tuesday, he's banged up, but he's been non-existent. DJ Moore, it looks like he's super frustrated. It doesn't look like he likes Caleb Williams at all, and he was one of the most vocal people for Justin Fields last year. So it's not good in Chicago right now, and I mean it's still a very possible winnable division for the Colts. I mean, they're going against Houston, but like every other team in their division is 0-2. So they need to start winning now. And if there is a game where they're going to win, I think this is it.
Yeah, no, this is another new lock that I don't know if will be a continuing feature, but it's for this week. This is my last chance lock.
Last chance.
On the Indianapolis Colts being -1, because yes, give me the Colts, give me them -1. Okay, if Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, you guys can't get this offense together against this Bears defense, which is solid, don't get me wrong, but there are opportunities to score against this Bears defense. And if this Indianapolis defense cannot contain this quote unquote Bears offense, then I'm done. I know that I have talked up the Indianapolis Colts at length on this podcast the first 2 weeks and in preseason and everything like that. But you know what? I will eat every one of my words if they cannot handle their business this week against the Indianapolis Colts. Or against the Bears, I'm sorry. If the Indianapolis Colts cannot handle their business against the Bears, I will eat all of my words on the Colts. But to add credence to the facts of what Diesel was talking about with DJ Moore, if you watch the videos back, I have not seen a wide receiver more angry at a quarterback over every tiny little thing on every single play since back to when T.O. played with Donovan McNabb. Like, it was legitimately, if you go back and watch the all 22 footage, every time coming out of huddles, like if there was a like quick play where DJ Moore had to look back towards Caleb Williams for what the play is, he is swearing. He is pissed off. They are nowhere near each other on the sidelines ever. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if DJ Moore is not a Chicago Bear by the time the trade deadline happens this year, because it's the NFL we live in, and you can still get some good capital for a DJ Moore. And the Bears are definitely in rebuilding mode still, especially starting the way they have 0-2. And they're going to 0-3 here. So, but yeah, DJ Moore hates Caleb Williams for sure. And I'm not fully on that train, but maybe he knows more than we do.
Next game is at noon on Sunday. It is the 0-2 Denver Broncos traveling to the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are favored by 7 with a 40-point over-under, and 96% of the fan differential is favoring the Buccaneers. And who do you got, Chad, and why?
Baker gonna bake, mother effers. Whoop, whoop. Give me Tampa Bay. Give me this as the bronze lock of the week. I got it at 6.5 points instead of 7. I would still eat the 7 points because you know what, folks? I don't hate Bo Nix. I do think that Bo Nix is going to be a competent NFL quarterback, but because of the fact that no one plays preseason football anymore, and the fact that Bo Nix clearly needs a little bit more time, and the rest of the Denver offense, especially their running game, is doing nothing at all, they can't score the rock. Like, they can't put the biscuit in the basket. They don't know how to get touchdowns. So I think easily Tampa Bay covers these 7 points, because you know who does score points? Tampa Bay, even without being able to run the ball, because that is the one hindrance, and it was their hindrance last year as well. And they still can't do it. Baker Mayfield led the team with, I think, like 30-some yards rushing against Detroit. But it doesn't matter. They just go out there and win. It's what they do. And Tampa Bay definitely beats the Denver Broncos. I guarantee it's going to be hot as F on Sunday in Tampa. Yeah, give me Tampa Bay. And with the bronze lock of the week, I'll eat those 7 points. Hell, I'll eat 8 points.
Yeah, I am also going Tampa Bay. It's not even really that much of a contest for me.
Right. So,
I mean, Denver is dumb. Like, Sean Payton is dumb. At the end of that game, he didn't even give his team a chance by not going for the onside kick, which doesn't make any sense to me. I get that he wanted to try to get a couple more yards, but the chances of you getting a successful Hail Mary to win the game isn't going to be, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, it was dumb. He should have went for the onside kick. It would have, they probably wouldn't have got it, but they would have got the ball back. If their defense would have done the same thing around the same exact spot on the field, it would have had to do the same exact thing just to throw a Hail Mary. Now I'm getting my train of thought back. And bam. Why? I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me. It's
crazy, man.
So mind-boggling to me that I can't even think straight. The Denver isn't very good. Their defense isn't very good. Tampa Bay is very good on both sides of the ball. I like Baker Mayfield, and every time he does good, it makes me happy because I was right. I was right this whole time. So yeah, I got Tampa Bay in this game. Next game at noon, we have the 2-0 Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is favored by 2 with a 35.5 point over under, and 54% of the fan differential has Pittsburgh. And as do I. And I'll tell you why. That defense is really, really good. That's the reason they're 2-0, because they're not scoring points on offense besides field goals. They have 1 touchdown in the 2 weeks that they played, but that defense is so good. They've kept them in both of their games. And yes, I know that the Chargers have a really good running attack, but they don't have anything else. If they're able to shut down the run, I don't really see. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a low-scoring game, 13-10, something like that. But if the Steelers can shut down the run, I don't know how else the Chargers are going to be able to beat the Steelers. When it comes to, don't get me wrong, the Chargers also have a good defense, but when you go defense to defense, Steelers are better. And that's all I'm going by. I think it's pretty much a coin flip. I think with the fan differential at 54% and only a 2-point favorite for Pittsburgh, it is pretty much a coin flip. I know where you're going with this, but I got Pittsburgh in this game. And your turn. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I knew that when I was picking games this week that this was going to be another week where either I'm going to be so much further into the hole that it's going to be pretty wild to start the season out this way, or I'm going to like even it up right here after this week. Because yes, without question, give me the LA Chargers in this game. Diesel, once again, just like I told you guys during the preseason predictions, what was the Chargers going to do this year? They were going to run the ball down everyone and anyone's effing throats. Okay? Wait. Okay, so they already have played. I know last week they played the Carolina Panthers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to put too much stock into that game. But week 1, they played the Las Vegas Raiders. And what did they do against the Raiders? They ran the rock down their effing throats with Max Crosby and that whole defense. What did the Raiders do this last week? Wait. They just shut down the Baltimore Ravens rushing offense. Like the fucking Baltimore Ravens rushing offense. They didn't shut down the Chargers rushing offense. So don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's defense is really effing good this year. They ain't stopping this 8-man front that John Harbaugh is putting out there. I know that Watt is great, but when he has 3 offensive linemen on him every time, J.K. Dobbins is rushing for 100 yards again, and the Chargers win this game. I'm sorry. I'm glad you are picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. This 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers train of they have won without scoring touchdowns ends this week.
So let's just remind everybody, you also predicted Las Vegas to not win a single game, and they've already won a game in the second week, and it was against Baltimore, who's one of your favorites.
Yeah,
so,
and that is thanks to the referees, and you can listen to my hot takes from this week, because without that call of pass interference that was not pass interference in the end zone on 3rd down, that Devontae Adams touchdown doesn't happen, and they don't get to tie the game up. So just throwing that out there.
I'm just saying, and we can talk about that when we get to either of those teams. I'm just saying, it's kind of, the ice is thin. The ice is thin.
Man's got a little bit of a lead. Gets real cocky over there on that side of the film.
Well, anyways, moving on. Noon, Sunday. We have the 1-1 Green Bay mother-loving Packers traveling to the 0-2 Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is favored by 3 with a 36.5 point over under, and 82% of the fan differential is on Green Bay. As well as I am. I told you on Sunday, spoiler alert, I'm picking Green Bay because I don't see how Tennessee is going to score any points on this Green Bay defense. I think it's also a revenge game for Malik Willis coming back to Tennessee. He's like, you trade me, I'll throw for another 100 yards, which I couldn't do when I was here. But
I'll throw 100 yards. Ooh, I'm so good.
And I know, and now there's tape on what the Packers are going to do. And the only thing that is good about the Titans is their defense. But I don't see the Titans scoring very many points on their offense. I think the Packers can outscore them because they actually can find the end zone. Yeah, I got the Packers. It's not going to be a high scoring game. It's going to look a lot like the last game. They put Marshawn Lloyd on IR today, which, I mean, he was already banged up. He's a rookie. Like, we don't really know how good he is anyways. I mean, he looked good in college. I have high hopes for him. But Emmanuel Wilson, he's doing great as running back too. He's doing way better than AJ Dillon did last year. And Josh Jacobs has already proven to be a great signing. Yeah, I got Green Bay. Like I said, I just don't see Tennessee putting up points. So I do believe in this Packers defense. I feel like they're playing differently under Haftley, and they have more swagger.
Yeah, I don't believe in Malik Willis. It's not that I don't believe in this Packers defense. It's that I don't believe that Malik Willis can do it once again against Tennessee's defense, which is, there's a lot of things wrong with this Tennessee team. The thing that isn't wrong is that defense at all. It is a very good defense. It is very stacked in a lot of ways. And we kind of ripped on Tennessee a lot before the season started. We ripped on them last week, and we ripped on them in our picks the first week. But they are a team that, sans a couple mistakes, could probably be 2-0. Like, they played competitive games, both games. They've had some bad miscues by their quarterback, who I think will be benched probably. And we're going to get to another benching that happened here when we talk about them. But the fact that I think Will Levis at home, I just think they might win this game. I do think it's super low scoring. And I think it comes down to a final drive. And I think that Calvin Ridley maybe makes like this contract worth it for 1 week, you know? He catches a big game-winning ball or something like that. And also, I knew you were taking Green Bay, so taking Tennessee at home in a game where it's basically a coin flip, I think in a lot of ways, I think is a good choice.
I may be blinded with the green and gold goggles here, but I don't think that it's a coin flip at all. I think that Packers are clearly the better team. They have more talent on this team, even without Jordan Love. I think that they're going to win this game, and I will be extremely happy that I am right and you are wrong. More happy than usual. Just saying. Next game, we have the 1-1 Philadelphia Eagles. This game's at noon too, I forgot to say. Traveling to the surprise 2-0 New Orleans Saints. The Saints are favored by 3 with a 49.5 point over under. The fan differential has the Eagles at 51%. Who do you got in this game, Chad?
Well, I don't get to say it often enough this year, and I've forgotten to sometimes, but you, as the fans, even though it's only 51%, you 51% are morons. Because give me the New Orleans Saints. No. I'm not fully drinking this Kool-Aid. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the New Orleans Saints are world beaters or anything like that. But it's going to be in the Superdome. This is the Saints' home opener. They played both of their opening games on the road. They are already 2-0 and have almost scored 100 points. The Superdome is going to be fucking rocking. That place might actually shake off of its actual foundation because that crowd is going to be out of control. And Philly, once again, I don't believe in Philly at all. And they're now coming off of a short week because they had to play on Monday Night Football and they lost in that heartbreaking fashion. I know it wasn't overtime, but that's the kind of loss that really sticks with a team, I feel like. So yes, give me the other team who isn't the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry, I just had a moment. The New Orleans Saints to win this game without question. But yeah, I'm not fully drinking this Kool-Aid. But is this Gary Kubiak's kid? Like, is that who the offensive coordinator is?
Kubiak, yep.
Freaking, like, I did not like Gary Kubiak back in the day, but apparently there's something in those genes, and they know how to run an offense.
Hey, man, he's a Super Bowl winning head coach.
It's what you do.
And he did it with a defense, and he's an offensive-minded coach, which is even more impressive. But yeah, I also am going with New Orleans, and I'm not ready to drink the New Orleans Kool-Aid either. I'm more on the side. I don't think the Eagles are great, and I think after last week, the chinks in the armor are showing. Without A.J. Brown, for some reason, they just forgot that Devontae Smith even existed. And then the whole sequence at the end of the game, you needed 3 yards and you win the game. And it's third down. So the logical thing would be to run the ball. And if you get 2 yards, you're going for it on fourth down because you have the famous brotherly shove, the tush push. I mean, it's in your MO. It's what you do. So why would you throw past the outside to brick hands Barkley? I just don't understand. You know, in the last 3 seasons, he has the most drops by a running back, and 16. And you can think, maybe it was 4 seasons, but you can thank that stat from Brandon Perna because that was on his winners and losers this week. I just don't think the Eagles are meshing. I think Sirianni has lost his mojo, whatever it was. I think that the whole keeping switching coordinators every single year is not helping anybody. The Eagles are a mess right now, and they're falling apart, and they're running into a New Orleans team that just went into Dallas and just mopped the floor with them. It was like jaw-dropping. Like, first half, it's like, what is going on? Like,
does New Orleans play the Commanders next week? Do they just play the entire East like for the first 4 weeks of the season?
Well, I guess I didn't think about that. Maybe. Well, no, they played the Panthers week 1.
Oh yeah,
that's why everyone was so shocked that they did.
Yeah, for some reason I thought they played the. Never mind. I thought they played the Giants week 1. That was the other team that beat the Giants up. That was the Vikings. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got New Orleans. I just feel like they're hot right now, and I don't think they're going to cool off anytime soon. But I'm not ready to say they're going to win this division because there's Tampa Bay in that division, and I can't wait to see that game. To be honest with you, it's going to be a good one. Usually is. But speaking of the New York Giants, that's our next game at noon. We have the 0-2 New York Giants traveling to the 1-1 Cleveland Browns. The Giants are so bad that Cleveland is favored by 6, and it's a 38.5 point over-under, and 94% of the fan differential is going for Cleveland. And I am as well. Not because I think Cleveland's good. It's because New York is that bad. I don't really have much to say. Cleveland's defense is definitely going to keep them in this game, and Cleveland can score points on offense. Just they looked better on offense in week 2 than they did in week 1. But yeah, they got the Giants. This might be good for Cleveland, actually. Maybe they can figure some things out. Who knows? And they got Chubb coming back soon, hopefully. If they can, like, they're 500 when they get Chubb back, who knows what they can do. So, and they already got the Bengals and the Ravens are both 0-2. So you want to win. You want to win now. To try to keep ahead of those teams. So, and this is if they lose this game, you might as well just forfeit the rest of the season. Just saying.
Yeah, no. I don't really have a lot to say about this game either. Give me Cleveland in this game. I know that the Giants held their own against the Commanders. Their defense looked solid. They didn't give up a single touchdown. And Malik Neighbors had a shit ton of yards, but sorry, the Browns are better than the Commanders on defense, and while I don't trust that offense at all of the Browns until Nick Chubb returns, they let the Commanders run up and down the field on them. They didn't give up touchdowns, but they were in the red zone every other possession, and the freaking Browns will cash in on some of those. So yeah, give me the Browns
If the Commanders get deep enough to score 7 field goals. So, I mean...
and most of them were from within 30 yards.
Yeah, so that's equivalent to 3 touchdowns right there. May not have given up an actual touchdown, but they're still bleeding points. Next game is our final noon game of the week, and we have the 2-0 Houston Texans traveling to the 2-0 Minnesota Vikings. Houston is favored by 2.5 with a 45-point over-under, and 74% of the fan differential is on Houston. And who are you taking in this game?
I have another big Houston victory here, and they're going to take another NFC North team out. And this is the silver lock of the week. Eat those 2.5 points. Because, folks, yes, I know the Minnesota Vikings are 2-0, and Justin Jefferson's injury is not terrible, so he should play this week. But this Vikings team is once again another sham. I'm sorry. Sam Darnold is not a great quarterback, and they're about to come against a team that is actually very, very good. And I hope you will watch the Sunday Night Football game where basically the refs decided that this is going to be the most boring game ever, because I think they threw 20 plus flags in the game. So we weren't going to have a fun game no matter what in that game because of the referees. This Houston team is high flying on its offense. Every one of its skill position players are just monsters from top to bottom. Like you aren't going to stop them. And on defense, they have maulers left and right as well. I think this is when Minnesota gets exposed. And I think this 2.5 points is ridiculously low. And I think Houston wins this game by probably 2 scores easily. Maybe going away, and they might make it close in the end with like a late, like fourth quarter garbage time like score. But no, I think Houston wins this by a lock. Silver lock of the week. Give me Houston.
I'm taking Houston as well. I can see why it's a 2.5 point line because of the fact Minnesota just beat San Francisco. They're at home. I mean, I also see your point. It also doesn't make sense because Houston seems to be better than Minnesota. And let's get honest, Minnesota beat the Giants in week 1, and then they beat injured 49ers team. Without Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy is not very good. And now with Debo going down, I know that's like a different game we'll talk about later, but it did affect the 49ers in this game a little bit too. Yeah, Minnesota also has, like, Justin Jefferson already went down. Yeah, like you said, he's playing, but like he's banged up. Like, and it's already early in the season. He missed majority of the season last year. You can't use him up this early in the season if you're expecting to go far. Um, Houston definitely does have more options. They don't have to use up one guy like Minnesota does. Their defense is better. Minnesota is getting old,
Oh, man.
and Sam Darnold is their quarterback. Yeah, Houston's gonna win this game. I'm starting to think that we should just erase our predictions, like preseason predictions episode, because everything that I said is not happening. So,
Sorry, Charlie. That is locked in stone.
yeah, I got Houston in this game. First 3:05 game on Sunday, we see the 1-1 Miami Dolphins traveling to the 2-0 Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 5 with a 41.5 point over under, and 60% of the fan differential is for Seattle. And with Skylar Moore as the quarterback for Miami, I don't think Miami's going to win this game. Even with Seattle just playing in overtime, DK looked good after week 1, like non-existent. Gino is also making me eat my words because 2 weeks he hasn't looked bad. I think Seattle's getting Miami at the perfect time because of Tua going down. They still got Tyreek. They still got an explosive offense. I just can't pick Miami. I'm off of Miami's bandwagon. Tua, like, what are you doing, man? Why are you diving head first? Like, what are you doing? They weren't gonna win that game anyways. They should have just. Yeah, I mean, I like that you're competing, but what are you doing? I got Seattle in this game.
Yeah. So, first of all, I will agree with you. Tua, I want you to be an NFL player. I have everything. I'm rooting for you, Tua. Like, I don't have anything against you, but that was one of the worst football plays I've ever seen in my life of watching football. There is no reason, A, to lead with your head like that. B, in that situation, like, you don't need to be going for the yardage that hard. It's week 2 in a game that it's week 2. Like, there is another 16 weeks of NFL football to be played. And 3, he already had the first down. There was no reason to be throwing your body like that. So while I have every hope for Tua, I think that truly he needs to get out of the NFL because he can't protect himself. This is his 4th major concussion in 5 years. And as an NFL quarterback, he's only going to keep getting knocked around. So I'm not here to tell someone how to live their life, obviously. But as an outside observer, that's just like, someone needs to step in and be like, listen, dude, you need to protect yourself for the rest of your life. But on the actual football side of this, with the Emerald Lock of the Week, give me the Miami Dolphins in this game. Because of all of the things that, you know what? You're right. Tua's not here, but Skylar Thompson has been here the whole time. Huh?
Is it Skylar Moore?
I thought it was Thompson. Moore. Whatever. His first name's Skylar. I know that. At least I know his first name.
Now I gotta look it up.
That's fine. You look it up while I talk about the fact that he doesn't need to throw the ball deep down the field. They can run an actual true dink and dunk offense with how many weapons are all over this team. And without Tua having to be here to, like, quote unquote, get the numbers.
You're right. Sky Moore is the receiver, played for the Chiefs.
Oh,
Plays
nice.
for the Chiefs.
without them having to like quote unquote get that 5,000 yards that Diesel was hoping for Tua, I think they can actually like have a really functionable offense. And you know who did very well against this offense last week? The New England Patriots. You know, also is really good at running the ball with a chain. I don't even know how to say his name. I hate it. A cane, a chain, a fane, a blame. I don't care. A chain. I don't care. He's really good at running the ball, and Seattle's not good at defending running the ball. So I get the Miami Dolphins in this game. I get points in it. Folks, get those plus 4.5. And if you're ballsy like me with the Emerald Lock of the Week, put it with a money line because, yes, I think the Dolphins win this game.
Next game at 3:05, we have the 0-2 Carolina Panthers traveling to the 1-1 Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 5.5 with a 40.5 over-under, and 95% of the fan differential is on the Raiders. Who you got and why?
So obviously, with the suck it Carolina lock of the week, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Eat those 5.5 points because this team is absolute dog shit trash. And David Tepper and this general manager has assembled a garbage fire of a squad. All I really want to talk about, though, is the fact that you're really going to bench Bryce Young after 2 games. Don't get me wrong. I know he has not done well this year or last year, but you have done nothing to help this fucking kid out. Like at this point, if you're going to bench him, put him on the trade block. Somebody else needs to take Bryce Young and like put him under a wing. Someone, the Jets, like someone needs to take Bryce Young because this is fucking ridiculous. Bryce Young, I don't think is ever going to be like the number 1 quarterback in the NFL or anything like that, but he is definitely of a talent quality that he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And the Carolina Panthers have ruined everything about this kid at every step that they have done. And it's just fucking infuriating.
Well, I'm taking Las Vegas as well. As far as Bryce Young, I told you on Sunday they were going to bench him because from what I saw, this kid does not know how to play football. Like there were so many times where like he just stood there and just got sacked. He didn't try to make a play. And I know that he doesn't have the best people on his team, but there was like one play in particular where Adam Thielen is wide open, nobody around him, easy touchdown, doesn't even look his way. And you say that they benched him after 2 games. They benched him after 18 games. He started 16 games last year. It's not like it's 2 games and they've given up on him. I know it's a new head coach, and I know it's a quarterback whisperer, but
they've also never given the kid a running back, or their best wide receiver they've given him as a 1,000-year-old Adam Thielen. Like, how is that fair?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that. Like, I agree with you that they ruined Bryce Young, but at this point, he's been labeled. It's unfair to him, but that's how it works. Like once you get in this label as being a bust, it's hard to get out of that label, especially at quarterback. And it's very rare that you shake that label. And yeah, it's a shame that, yes, he got drafted to the wrong team. They should have never taken him. They should have never traded up to get him. Like, you got to build your team before you go after your quarterback. And they are going to be in hell for the next 5 years because of this. They think their best option to win is with Andy Dalton, and it might be because experience. They're screwed anyways. They're not beating the Raiders this week. I honestly don't see them winning a game because they don't have a good team. They don't have a good approach to the game. They're not good. I got Las Vegas, and they're gonna definitely win by more than 5.5. And that's Las Vegas, who I don't think is very good, even though they did just shut down Baltimore. Next game at 3:25, we have, which would have been an exciting game if it would have been 2 weeks ago, the 1-1 San Francisco 49ers traveling to the 0-2 Los Angeles Rams. 7-point favorites are the 49ers with a 43.5 point over under, and 93% of the fan differential is on San Francisco. And I really want to fight for the Rams, but I mean, who do they got? They got Matthew Stafford. I mean,
Do you want? Okay,
Williams.
I'm going to take it over then, because I'm going to tell you right now, Diesel, I am with the heart lock of the week, taking the LA Rams. Folks, once again, you could just take the points. +7, that's a lot. That's a lot of points, especially they're at home. It's a division game, and in a division game, +7 is a lot. But there's this weird thing. Every time the Rams and 49ers meet, I told you this last week. I've talked about it many times. Shanahanigans don't beat McVayisms. And I know. There is no one playing offensive line for the LA Rams anymore. I don't even know. They might be pulling someone's out of the feet or out of the stands to like play left tackle at this point. Because I think they're on their like fourth one, at least at this point. But I just don't know. Somewhere in this heart of hearts, in this black hole that is my chest, I just know that this 0-2 Rams team is going to save their season this week, because going 0-3 is a death sentence. Like there is very few teams who crawl back from 0-3. I know it doesn't seem like that crazy of a like thing. Like 0-3 doesn't seem that bad, but statistically, going 0-3 is one of the worst things that can happen to you. So I believe in this Rams team, and I know it might be purely idiotic, but this thing in my chest says that it is the right move. So with the heart lock of the week, give me the LA Rams. And I know that they are the walking wounded, but they're going to do it. I don't know how, but they're going to fucking do it.
Man, I'm going to be beating you by like 10 games after this week. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. I'm taking San Francisco. The Rams, they don't have anybody. They just keep on losing more and more people. Like, have they put Kupp on IR yet? Or are they still waiting?
Not yet. They're still waiting.
Oh, man. The only reason they haven't is because they already put Puka on IR. And they're hoping. We're all hurting. Everyone's hurting. But, I mean, 49ers are the walking wounded as well. Like I said earlier, they don't have
Bosa playing
right now. What's that?
Is Bosa playing? He left last week.
I don't know. I haven't heard whether he's going to be playing or not. I mean, with Christian McCaffrey being put on IR last week,
Debo's out
for a few more weeks. What's that?
Debo's out.
Yeah, Debo's out. Yeah. So this game, like I said, if it was week 1, it would have been exciting. Now it's like it's like 2006 Rams 49ers when they both were horrible and the Rams were still in St. Louis and
garbage.
Yeah. That's the game that I'm thinking we're getting on Sunday, which is unfortunate. Next game, 3:25. We have the 1-1 Detroit Lions traveling to the 1-1 Arizona Cardinals. The Lions are favored by 2.5 with a 52.5 point over under, and 77% of the fan differential is on Detroit. And I am as well, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of how they lost last week. And Dan Campbell You shaking your head as like no, I don't know. Dan Campbell, he is very upset with himself. With he called himself out at halftime and in the post game press conference. Like, when have you ever seen a coach take accountability like that before? It's not very often. Yeah, man, I like Dan Campbell a lot. It sucks that he's a coach in my division because I'd probably like him even more if he wasn't. But after that loss last week, I think they're gonna have a fire, and I think it's gonna be a game. I don't think they're gonna like just walk in there and be like, "Oh yeah, we're winning this game," but I don't think that Arizona is gonna be able to handle them like they handled the Rams either. With Hutchinson with 4.5 sacks last week, which he was involved in every single time Baker got sacked. By the way, um, yeah, insane. That guy is insane. I picked him to be the defensive player of the year before the season started, and was he up at 7 sacks already in 2 weeks? They're at least 6.5. It's yeah. I feel like this one's going to be a shootout. I feel like both these teams are built for that, but I also think that Hutchinson's going to be the difference maker. I think at the end of the game, I think Arizona will have the ball last, and they're just not going to be able to stop that beast. I just have a feeling it's just going to go. It's going to go down to the end, not overtime this time, but it's going to go down to whoever has the ball last. And if it is the Cardinals that have the ball last, they're going to have a monster to deal with.
Everything about the Arizona blowout of the LA Rams is why I stand Kyler Murray as a top 5, if not top 3 quarterback in today's NFL. Because I don't know if there is another quarterback in the NFL who can extend a play the way. Huh?
Wouldn't put him in my top 12.
You're out of your mind.
You're out of your mind.
There's not another quarterback in the NFL who can extend a play the way that he does and then throw the way he does down the field. The multiple touchdowns he had were 8 to 10 seconds behind the line of scrimmage. And that's insane. Like, how do you evade? Like, watching the all 22 photos of Kyler Murray against this LA Rams team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but the LA Rams defensive line and the front seven are fast AF. Like, they're all young, they are speedy, and Kyler Murray is out there spinning and dodging and creating pockets and whipping the ball left and right. I know that you just hate Kyler Murray, Diesel.
I don't hate Kyler Murray. He's lazy. He doesn't. Yeah, he gets open, like he runs around a lot, and then he takes sacks, and then you know what else he does? He throws interceptions when you have a wide open Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not that good.
And this is something that we just fundamentally will always disagree on. Give me the Arizona Cardinals in this game. The desert is a hard place to play in. Once again, gonna be hot AF. And I don't believe in this Detroit defense. Don't get me wrong. Yes, Aiden Hutchinson, an absolute monster. But you know what? Kyler Murray can move around in the pocket a little bit more than Baker Mayfield can. I don't dislike Baker's wiggle, but the wiggle that's in Kyler, a lot more than's in Baker. So yes, Aiden Hutchinson ain't getting 4.5 sacks in this game. Give me the Arizona Cardinals at home to go to 2-1 and sending Detroit to 1-2.
Yeah. Even though we're all high on the Buccaneers and stuff like that, Buccaneers won that game a lot because of Detroit's mistakes. I don't think they're going to.
And they were in Ford Field, though. That's what I'm saying. The Detroit made all of these mistakes at home. They're about to go on the road.
Yeah, and they're pissed off. The beast has been awoken. This is a different team. I'm telling you. I don't believe in Arizona. Like, I don't believe in Gannon. Like, Arizona, they're better than they were. But like, They're not being Detroit. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
That's fine. And that's why we do this podcast. So the next week, one of us is going to make fun of the other one incessantly.
Last Sunday afternoon game at 3:25, we have the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens traveling to the 1-1 Dallas Cowboys. The Ravens are favored by 1, and 49 over under, with a 68% fan differential favoring the Ravens. This game is really hard to pick, so I'm gonna let you go first.
If I wouldn't have used my last chance lock on the Indianapolis Colts, it probably would be on Baltimore. But this is going to be the golden lock of the week for the Baltimore Ravens against the Dallas Cowboys, because I don't know, like, legitimately, this is one of the craziest games that, like, the way these two teams have opened the season, for them to now be meeting here in week 3 after both of the ways, like, the Ravens are 0-2 and have looked decent to solid in both games. They could have won both of those games. Dallas is coming in here after kind of housing Cleveland, who was not a great team, and then getting absolutely shit can wrecked at home by the New Orleans Saints. I said last week that the Ravens were going to win because of rage. And if I was going to go by that logic, I should be picking Cowboys this week because they're the most pissed off team. But no, golden lock of the week, Baltimore Ravens. I think that the Dallas secondary without Bland is just not that good. They're missing too many pieces in that back end. I know that front seven is really good, but without that actual, like, top end corner to stop people. I know Diggs is good, but he's just a splash player in my opinion. And then they have no running game at all because they have no running backs because the Zeke Elliott is leading their backfield. I was high on Dallas before the season started, and I'm eating my words on that because I think they're a trash team. So give me Baltimore in this game, and this is my golden lock of the week because they're going to win by more than a point.
I am also taking Baltimore because, let's face it, Dallas on offense is a one-dimensional team. They're relying on Ezekiel Elliott, who's 30 now, to be their lead back. And, like, he shows promise every now and then, but, like, he's always been a good back. It's just he's not what he was years ago. And yeah, that's a problem. Another thing is their defense is clearly worse without Dan Quinn. Mike Zimmer has come in there and he's changed some things, and they are not performing as well as they were last year. And the Saints just picked them apart. They knew exactly how to play against them. And I feel like, yeah, Baltimore needs to win this game. Baltimore, they lose this game, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Like, going 0-3, I mean, you're not out of it, but you know the statistics, starting 0-3 and making the playoffs, it's under 10%, and it's, yeah. I just don't see Baltimore going 0-3. Like you said, they could be 2-0. You know, they definitely could be 2-0, but I mean, that doesn't matter because their record shows them being 0-2. They need this win. They lose to Dallas, they're in dire straits. And they better hope that Cincinnati loses on Monday, but they better hope that Pittsburgh also loses. This always sucks when you got to rely on other teams. But I think they're going to win this game because, I don't think Dallas is very good on either side of the ball, to be honest with you. They have good players, but they don't have anyone else to throw to besides CeeDee Lamb and the tight end, who also got banged up on Sunday. Is he playing, Ferguson, or is he out?
I don't think he played this last week. I think he'll play this week.
was that 2 weeks ago when he got out, knocked out? Oh, whatever. Still, like, they're one-dimensional. Their defense sucks. I got Baltimore. And now moving on, Sunday Night Football. We have the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs traveling to the 1-1 Atlanta Falcons. I like to call this one the Tony Gonzalez Bowl.
Like it.
Kansas City is favored by 3.5, 46.5 over under, and 94% fan differentials on Kansas City. And I am taking Atlanta. Maybe it's because it's recency bias and watching the game last night. Like, they were never out of that game. They had the lead for most of the fourth quarter last night. We're recording on Tuesday this week. If you didn't know, a little peek behind the fourth wall. They showed fight. Their defense is really good. Their defense was what I was most excited about coming into the season, because like, even though Bijan is a highly touted talent and Kyle Pitts and Drake London, you just don't really have the evidence because of what the past regime did with them. And so it's like, but I do know what their defense can do for sure. Bijan looked good on Monday Night Football. Drake London had a couple catches, and then Mooney.
The game winner, baby.
He did, yep. But Mooney, Kirk Cousins is going to make Mooney a star.
I can make you a star.
Texted you that. Like, the Bears couldn't do anything with that guy, and then look at him he was looking good last night. I just like their fight. Kansas City, they're 2-0. They're the opposite of Baltimore. They could be 0-2. They probably should be 0-2. They lost by a toe and had the refs in their back pocket like always. And coming into Atlanta, Kirk Cousins is shaking off that prime time can't win. He's won 4 out of his last 5 Monday night games after going 0-9, which is really impressive. I just feel like Kansas City's not going to win them all, and I feel like this offense can give them problems. Also, with Pacheco being out for the year, which is very sad because he had a great first 2 weeks up until he broke his leg. I feel like they're going to have issues moving the ball a little bit because they're going to have to figure out this running game still. I mean, they have the rookie, but can't really rely on that. Travis Kelce, I'm looking for him to like explode like more towards not later parts of the season, but I think they're kind of easing him in. I don't know what's going on with that, but I got it.
Pissing me off is what it's doing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, me too. But
okay, but yes, I'm actually very annoyed that you are taking the ATL because obviously with the Raptor lock of the week, I know that it's been on the ATL all 3 of these first 3 weeks, but it'll probably go in Baltimore one of these times. But getting points plus 3.5 in the Georgia Dome against Kansas City. Don't get me wrong, Kansas City's a very good team, but I am all in on this Atlanta Falcons team. Kirk Cousins looked like Kirk Cousins I thought he was going to look like all year, okay? That first week, I'm hoping was just a blip, all right? He's just keep getting better. He looked way more mobile. Bijan Robinson looked insanely fast. There was a couple plays in that game where I could not believe how fast Bijan Robinson looked. Like, he was just suddenly in the backfield, and then he was 10 yards down the field in a blink of an eye, and I was mind-boggled. I think this Atlanta team is going to do some crazy shit, all right? And this, after that huge win and how they won the game, is one of those momentum builders. They're going to beat Kansas City this week, and this is the Raptor lock of the week, and I'm very excited for this Sunday Night Football. Like, I'm so glad that I am in on a team that apparently is going to be on primetime football every week. So let's go.
Now, moving on to our doubleheader on Monday night at 6:30, we have the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to the 2-0 Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 5.5 with a 45.5 point over under. 94% of the fan differentials on the Bills, and my prediction of Sean, what's his nuts, getting fired before the season was over is looking really
so
good right about now.
Not looking so great.
Who you got in this game and why?
Yeah, nope. I this is another game where I'm probably going to have to eat a lot of words that I said before the season started.
Yeah.
I
Both teams too.
yeah. I was all out on Jacksonville before the season started already. That's your word seed. Only on Buffalo do I have to eat a lot of words because while I'm not fully in. I still don't think they're going to win like in the end. Josh Allen is really fucking good, folks. Gosh damn, is he really good? And if James Cook they're going to give him the rock and let him run. And as I talked about in my hot takes from, this week 2 NFL action, it's cool to run the ball nowadays. So they're giving the ball to running backs. James Cook is being allowed to run the ball. Josh Allen's not being required to play hero ball, which is what kills him every time. And if he's not playing hero ball, he's one of the best quarterbacks we'll probably ever seen. Yeah, give me Buffalo in this game without question. I am all out on Jacksonville. They are a team of idiots. They are a team that just underperforms. I don't know what it's about them. I don't know if it's because they are the Jacksonville Jaguars or what, but they cannot put all of the great pieces they have together. They're in Jacksonville. So with the first Monday Night Football primetime lock of the week, eat those 5.5 points with Buffalo because, I think James Cook and Josh Allen just run up and down the field on them. And this Buffalo defense does enough that freaking Trevor Lawrence is going to, lose him the game. It's what he does. It's very unfortunate.
I need to bring back my rule from last year and don't pick against Buffalo. It's bit me in the ass the first 2 weeks, so I'm not going to do it. And yes, I was talking up Jacksonville, and I even gave them the benefit of the doubt last week. But after watching them, before the game was even over, I knew that, yep, I'm off this bandwagon. And if I would have even waited just a little while longer, I would have been off the second I heard Trevor Lawrence say that they suck. You never want to hear your quarterback of your team say that you suck. Lie. Even though we know you suck, lie. We don't want to think that you actually believe that. You
have to have the delusion that you're the greatest team on the planet. To be great, you have to be delusional in some ways.
But on the other hand, I wanted to bring this up earlier, and I just remembered, as far as Bo Nix's comment about when they asked him to tell him about the interception in the end zone, and he just goes, "Yeah, I dropped back and I threw it to the other team." That was his response. I loved that.
Yeah, it's very honest.
Why are you being such a dick asking him to talk about an interception he threw? I mean, right after the game, come on. But it's a great response. I got Buffalo. Jacksonville don't even have a chance. Like I said, they're doomed. They're doomed.
Doomed.
And I love Doug Peterson.
I do too, but
I think he might be a shell of himself. Something happened.
He's gone after this year.
Yep.
And it sucks.
Yep.
But moving on to our last game of week 3, which I could tell you is a better matchup, but we have the 1-1 Washington Commanders traveling to the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is favored by 7.5, 48.5 point over under with a 91% fan differential in Cincinnati's favor. And last week's game was weird because even though Cincinnati lost, in a weird way, it still kind of feels like they won. They should have won.
Yo, ref, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think there's much to say about this game. Like, I think Cincinnati is going to win this game, not only because they have to, because they're playing Washington, and Washington doesn't know who they are yet. They couldn't score a touchdown last week. Jaden Daniels is running the ball really well, but as far as passing the ball, not very well. Brian Robinson Jr. is also running the ball amazingly. Defense is full of holes. And
How
I
did you
have
trade
total
away your
faith-
top two edge rushers? You know, when you trade away, when you have Montez Sweat and Chase Young on your team, and you trade them both away. It's weird.
I do have faith that in like a year or two, this team will be better. I do like Dan Quinn. I saw him built the Falcons. I know that he's a great defensive mind. I feel like give him a couple drafts to get his like guys in there on defense. I like Jaden Daniels a lot. If he could learn to like throw the ball at Scary Terry or just really anybody.
Anyone, that'd be great.
They might be good. Not this year though. Cincinnati needs this game way too much. Jamar Chase though is, for lack of a better term, a cancer right now in that locker room, and you can see it. It's like bleeding out onto the field. He got that unsportsmanlike conduct because he was arguing with the referee. You don't see that in football too often. That's more of a baseball move.
Yep.
But yeah, he turned around, and Joe Burrow was actually pulling him away. It's just Jamar Chase just needs to calm down. Yeah, you didn't get paid, but you also could have signed a contract either way. You know, like. I get that you want to be the most paid, like
Highest
player. I get it, but at the same time, I don't, because I don't live that life. But Cincinnati's gonna win this game, and where they go from here, I'm interested to see. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't have a lot to add to you. I am 1,000% on Cincinnati on this game. With another Monday Night Football lock of the week. Give me the over in this game of 48, because while I don't think that Washington can win this game, Jane Daniels and this rushing attack are definitely going to give Cincinnati a lot of problems, and they'll put up some points. They'll probably score a lucky touchdown, and they will put up field goals because they can move between the 20s. It's in the red zone that this Commanders team has problems. So I love the over in this game, and also because of how pissed off he is and what is going on with his contract, I am also, for the rest of the year, rocking every over for yardage on Mr. Chase. I think that he and Burrow are very good friends, and I think that Burrow wants to get him paid too. So I think Burrow is going to feed him the ball as much as he can. And I think that no matter what this yardage is for his over, I'm taking the over for Chase for the rest of the year on his yardage every game.
Well, that's all the games we got. We can't pick anything else this week except for our noses. And I don't think that would be good content. So I think that means it's time for final thoughts. What are your final thoughts for this week?
Final thoughts. I would really hope that you all check out our hot takes for week 2 action, because I really enjoyed Diesel's and I really enjoyed my hot takes. And I think it's a really fun way to do it because we don't do it together. So Diesel and I just get to say what we want to say about everything. And I really enjoyed that. So that's my final thoughts. Please check out our hot takes of the week. And also, final thoughts, next week, it's going to be a weird episode. So just know that.
Yeah, so weird. We don't even know what's going to happen yet. But we know it's going to be weird. I can promise you that. My final thoughts are, what a weird week and a weird start to the season. Like I said, we got San Francisco and the Rams, which should be good, but it's not going to be because of the injuries. I mean, it still might be good, but like it's not what we should have. too many stars are missing, and that's spoiler if you didn't see my takeaways. I do talk about that, and I do feel strongly about that as well. Yeah, I'm excited to watch some football, watch some Red Zone.
We got 6 games
And
different, Diesel.
what's that? 6 games?
By my count.
I'll double check that.
Math, 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 math.
And
We got
you
New
are
England
correct.
and New York
There's
Jets.
6. Yep.
Comebacks on, baby.
Yeah, you could legitimately lead me by a game after this week. We'll see what
Comebacks on.
happens. So I got nothing else to say. So if you made it this far, then and you haven't hit the thumbs up, what are you doing? Hit that thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you're not going to subscribe to us, subscribe to some of our favorite creators too, like Tom Grossi. He's trying to get to 1 million, and also official Jaguar Gator 9, because that guy works too hard to have as little subscribers as he does. Just thought I'd give a little shout out to some people that I like to watch for football related content. You got
Both of them
anybody?
are great
You know?
content.
I know I kind of put you on the spot. Is there anybody that you want to shout out while we're doing it?
I love the Football Analysis podcast on YouTube, and then I also am a big Michael Perna fan. So we got all 4 of our big ones right there.
So yeah, if you're not subscribing to us, please subscribe to them because they deserve a subscription. Also, leave a comment. Tell us what you think the most interesting game of the week will be this weekend, why. And maybe we will respond. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we will. Someone will, because we don't ever get comments. Yeah. Feel like I'm forgetting something. I say hit that bell, hit that bell. Yeah. Be sure to follow us on all our audio platforms as well, in case you can't watch us. And I've been Diesel, and I'm ready to end this thing. So I'm just gonna say, let's watch some football. And bye, Chad, because I didn't say goodbye to you.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.